Republicans released their proposed new congressional map. This had been anticipated for some time now. We showed you that map at the top of the hour. The plan targets seats that are held by Democratic congressional members in the Austin and Houston areas, as well as South Texas, and 2 seats here in North Texas. Joining us to talk more about this plan is Puck congressional reporter Abby Livingston, who is with us live from Washington, D.C. right now. Abby, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me.
I know it's been a busy day. There's been a lot of buzz about this map that came out earlier today. So Texas has 38 congressional representatives. It's already a lopsided affair. Republicans have 25 of those 38 seats. And now 30 of the 38 districts drawn out of this map would have been won by President Trump in last year's election. So Republicans really hoping that that's going to hold true in the congressional elections next year and that they will pick up those 5 seats.
Absolutely. And so to be clear, this map, the inception of it came from the White House. It did not come from the Texas political world. That said, they've implemented this plan. I think one of the key takeaways is Republicans are on track to win 5 seats out of Texas, but we don't quite yet know what the political environment will be in Texas next cycle. It looks like it may favor Democrats. A very wise Republican told me today, best case scenario, they pick up 5 seats. Worst case scenario, they pick up 1 seat.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because nationally, what you're referring to here is that the party in power, Republicans in this case, obviously, usually do poorly in those off-year congressional elections like we're going to have next year. So if Republicans can get these extra 5 seats from Texas, Abby, can you talk about how important that could be to their agenda and to the Trump presidency?
This is basically all about subpoena power in Congress and whether Democrats can get control of the House and be able to investigate the President of the United States, which is very normal when there's an opposition power in place. And so this has, I would say seemed like a small-time Texas affair initially. This has exploded nationally. States all over the country are looking at redistricting their own maps in retribution for Texas if they're under Democratic control. This has lit a fire in the Democratic Party nationally and locally, but it's unclear whether that'll be manifested in the eventual head count out of Texas.
Yeah, and this becomes even more crucial, Abby, as you well know, because the majority is such a thin majority for Republicans right now. Democrats really only need a handful of seats to take control of that chamber next year. And so, boy, the battle is on getting into next year. You know, going into today, it seemed like Democrats had been pinning their hopes in order for Republicans to carve out more Republican districts, that they might have to dilute current Republican-held districts in Texas and possibly make those vulnerable to flipping Democrat next year. It doesn't look like, at least in the first blush of this, that it worked out that way, though.
We are still crunching the numbers. I think some of the newer seats may be where some of this battlefield takes place, but it is still very uncertain. It takes a while for these to shake out, and we also still have to see who runs for office. But I just think the general point I would make about Texas politics is that it is very unstable and it is very fluid right now in a way that I have not seen in many years.
And, you know, Abby, they're working with those 2020 census numbers, too. So that data can get a little bit muddy when you get to the middle of a decade like this. And Democrats are certainly hoping that, you know, maybe, you know, we've had some people leave, we've had some people arrive, and perhaps Republicans aren't as crafty as they thought they were in drawing these maps that might benefit them. Last thing here, Republicans, you know, as you mentioned, want to do this in other red states. The president alluding to that today. Democrats threatening to do the same in blue states, even though there are some barriers to doing it in some places there. It looks like we're really going to be seeing a redistricting escalation as we go through the months ahead.
It is very unusual to be doing maps like this mid-decade. I would say that is going to become the precedent in American politics going forward. Next decade, if one party takes control of a state, I think it's very likely we could just see new maps every time there's a switch in power.
Amazing times that we're living in here. Abby Livingston with Puck News, thanks so much for informing us today and giving us a little bit of a deeper dive into this. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.